There is a version of you that you think about late at night. He has his life together. He built the thing. He did the work. He stopped running. And then morning comes, and you are still you. This video is not about that gap. Every motivational channel talks about the gap. This video is about why that gap exists, and why every hack, every routine, every discipline tip you've tried has failed to close it. Because the problem is not your habits. The problem is not your phone. The problem is not that you haven't found the right system yet. The problem is that somewhere deep inside you, a child is still running your life. And until that child grows up, or until you force him to, nothing changes. Not really. Stay with me. This is going to be uncomfortable. That's the point. Everyone around you has called you lazy at some point. A parent, a teacher, maybe yourself. They were wrong. And that misdiagnosis has been hurting you ever since. You are not lazy. Lazy people don't lie awake thinking about what they should be doing. Lazy people don't feel that hollow ache at the end of a wasted day. Lazy people don't have this burning sense that they are supposed to be more than this. You feel all of that, which means something else is going on. What's actually going on is terror. Not the terror of spiders or heights. The quiet, constant terror of being seen and found ordinary. The terror of trying your hardest and discovering that your hardest is not enough. That fear is not weakness. Every serious person who has ever built anything has felt it. The difference is what they did with it. Most people, and this is probably you, have built an entire life around the fear, not to face it, to avoid it. And that avoidance has a name: the provisional life.
Think back. Were you the smart kid? The one with potential? The one teachers pointed at and said, that one is going to do great things? That praise did something to you that nobody warned you about. It built an identity that is tied completely to being capable, not to actually doing. And there is a catastrophic difference between those two things. Because as long as you haven't really tried, haven't launched the business, haven't written the book, haven't gone all in on the career, you are still the smart one with potential. You are safe. You are unproven. You are, in your own mind, still a genius waiting to happen. But the moment you actually step onto the field, the moment you try and fail, that identity collapses. And for someone who built everything on being the capable one, failure is not just a setback. It feels like the death of who you are. So you protect yourself. You tell yourself you're not that interested in the job you're underperforming at. You say you're still figuring things out at an age when figuring out should be behind you. You call it patience. You call it being selective. It is neither of those things. It is a protection racket your ego runs on your behalf, and you are paying for it with your actual life. Here is the brutal truth. You have decided it is safer to be a failure who never tried than a failure who did. And that decision is costing you everything. So what do you do when the pressure builds? When the bills come, the expectations press in, and reality starts demanding things from you. You don't rise to meet it. You disappear. Not physically. You disappear inside. You know exactly what your disappearance looks like. It could be gaming. It could be scrolling for 2 hours without remembering a single thing you saw. It could be pornography. It could be that 1 a.m. YouTube spiral where you're watching videos about productivity instead of being productive. These are not hobbies. They are not relaxation. They are anesthetics. They exist to silence the alarm bells your own mind is ringing. And they work. That's the problem. Think about what gaming actually gives you. Progress, rewards, a clear scoreboard. The feeling that your actions matter and produce results. You are a hero in there. You have agency. You are respected. And then you close the game. And you are back. Nothing built. Nothing moved. Just that hollow feeling that shows up every single time, the one you never talk about. That hollow feeling is your conscience. It is telling you that you are capable of more. It is telling you that you are choosing pixels over your actual potential.
And every time you run from that feeling, instead of sitting with it, you make it harder to face it next time. The escape gets more necessary. The reality gets harder to return to. This is not laziness. This is addiction, an addiction to safety. Here is where most videos like this make the critical mistake. They diagnose the real problem, fear, ego protection, emotional escape, and then tell you to just try harder. Wake up at 5 a.m., cold shower, write your goals down, hustle. That advice does not fix the structural problem. It treats a broken foundation by painting the walls. If your avoidance is driven by a deep terror of failure, and now you know it is, then pushing yourself to just do it will work for about 4 days, maybe 2 weeks if you are feeling inspired. And then the fear wins again, because the fear is not gone. You just temporarily overpowered it. The real solution is not willpower. The real solution is restructuring your relationship with reality itself. It has a name: radical obedience to reality. Not motivation, not discipline hacks, obedience. You stop negotiating with reality and start doing what it demands of you, regardless of how you feel about it. Here is what that actually looks like in practice. First, kill the anesthetic. Identify your specific escape route, not screens. Be precise. Is it gaming, specific apps, pornography, late-night browsing? Cut it. Not a digital detox, not "I'll use it less." A complete, total separation for 30 days. Why? Because you need to feel the boredom. You need to feel the discomfort of sitting alone with yourself with nothing to numb it. That is not punishment. That is data. The discomfort you feel is the exact fear you have been running from. You need to meet it face to face before you can work with it. If you cannot sit in a quiet room for 1 hour without grabbing your phone, you do not control your own mind. Something else does. Second, master the mundane. Start doing the things you avoid, not the big things, the small ones. Clean your space. Do it properly, not well enough. Organize your finances. Answer the email you've been putting off. This is not about the dishes. This is about training your brain to stop treating discomfort as a reason to stop. Every time you push through the resistance of a small task, you are building the same muscle you will need for the big ones. There is no shortcut around this. The man who cannot master a simple daily task will not suddenly master a career.
Third, do the thing you're most afraid to fail at. Apply for the position you think you are not qualified for yet. Submit the work you think is not ready yet. Have the honest conversation you have been postponing. You need to discover through lived experience, not theory, that failure does not kill you, that you can fall short and still be standing, that rejection is a piece of information, not a verdict on your worth. This is the moment the child starts to die, not when you succeed, when you fail and survive it. Fourth, end the self-negotiation. You have been negotiating with yourself for years. You win every time, which means the negotiations are not working. Find someone who will not accept your excuses, not a cheerleader, someone who has done what you are trying to do and will tell you the truth about your performance, your reasoning, and your blind spots. This is not about being hard on yourself for sport. It is about having a reality check that your own mind cannot provide, because your mind has a vested interest in keeping you comfortable. There is a concept in psychology called the provisional life. It is the life you are waiting to actually start once the conditions are right, once you feel ready, once things settle down. The provisional life is a trap, because the conditions are never fully right. You never feel completely ready. Things never fully settle. The only life that exists is the one you are living right now, this moment, this week, this year. And that life is passing, not slowly, but one irreversible second at a time. The world does not care about your potential. The world responds to what you produce, who you are under pressure, and whether you show up when it is hard. You already know this. You've known it for a while. The question is what you do with it. So here is what I want you to do. Not tomorrow, today. Pick the one thing you have been postponing the longest, the thing that makes you slightly sick to think about, and take one real step toward it before the day ends. Not a plan, not a note in your phone, an actual step. That is how the boy dies, not in a dramatic moment of transformation, in a single decision, made once, then made again, then made again. If this hits something real in you, if you recognized yourself somewhere in this video, subscribe, because this is what we do here. We cut through the noise and talk about what's actually going on. No shortcuts, no empty hype. The next video goes even deeper. Don't miss it.